tried and failed, I tried and failed, oh, how I tried and how I failed.
Good morning! Good to see you, friend.
Well, hello Lionhearts, your old pal Jordan the Lion and your old pal Jaw. How are you today? Glad to hear it. Well, last night when I came home from the Viper Room, I edited the video, got it all ready, and then something popped into my head. I said I want to watch this old movie that I used to watch with my dad. It's kind of a goofy old movie from the 80s, but to me it's kind of like what the 80s was all about. And this was a movie starring Christopher Lloyd, not your typical Christopher Lloyd part, and Howie Mandel. Now, Howie Mandel now is nothing like the Howie Mandel I remember growing up, so I'm going to take us back to a filming location from one of my favorite Howie Mandel movies, and I'm going to kind of talk about how I don't really understand how much his career's changed. Daze of Jordan the Lion begins now. Well, if you're wondering how the show went last night, it went great. Sam killed. In fact, I think it's probably one of the best shows I've ever seen Sam do, and so I think they captured some magic. I didn't get to stay for the second show, but the first show was great. If you follow jiu-jitsu or mixed martial arts, I sat right next to Eddie Bravo. He was at the table with me, and to my mom, your favorite soap opera star, Sean Kerrigan, was there as well in the audience, so it was a fun time had by all. And I was really hoping to meet the manager of the Viper Room last night. He's got a kind of an interesting story himself. I did film sections of it, but I had filmed so much stuff last night that when I went to edit the vlog, I had to axe about 20 minutes worth of footage, and all that footage included what I'm going to tell you now. So the guy who manages the Viper Room now was also in a band that moved out here from, I believe, New York City, and one of their more notable things was that they were the band that was, I think they were called the Gutter Cats. They were in that episode Married with Children where Kelly Bundy gets hired to be the music video girl. He was the bass player in that, and then as of recent, he was the last bass player for Scott Weiland, who was in Stone Temple Pilots and unfortunately had an overdose and died. Well, I mean, it was a drug-induced death for sure. But now he's the manager. He wasn't there last night. Otherwise, I definitely was supposed to meet him. A couple of people were gonna introduce me to him, but yeah, I just thought that was kind of a crazy story, and I didn't want to leave it out, even though I had way more footage yesterday than I could have ever used. If you look over that shrubbery right there, you can see they have like a little statue of an owl in their tree. Do you want to go to Tail Waggers? Okay, let's go. Let's take me over there. All right, we gotta head over there. Will 2 do it, Jaw?
What if I just leave this here? Will you eventually take it, maybe?
Wow, look at these houses. Well, we're pretty much in Hancock Park. Now, like I said, today's mostly about Howie Mandel. Now, Howie Mandel had a fast rising career from the very beginning. I mean, he pretty much started in Canada in the late 70s. His very first trip to LA, he got one spot at the Comedy Store, got signed up as a paid regular off of that one spot, and the guy who booked Make Me Laugh happened to be there, saw him, and booked him for multiple appearances. Now in my life, whenever I think of Howie Mandel, I always think of the Blake Edwards movie, It's a Fine Mess, with Ted Danson and Richard Mulligan. I always love that movie. I always think of Little Monsters with Fred Savage. I always think of Bobby's World. I know a lot of people probably think of St. Elsewhere. That wasn't really in my lifetime. But the other big thing to me was this 1987 movie with Howie Mandel, Christopher Lloyd, and Cloris Leachman, and it was called Walk Like a Man, and that's the house we're gonna see today. Wow, look at this place. This isn't even the house we're looking for. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Look at all those flowers. Now in the movie, this is the same street, this is 6th Street, that Penny is driving to bring Bobo, played by Howie Mandel, home to meet his family for the first time in 20 years. And you actually see that sign when they make the turn. Now, Howie Mandel's actually had an extremely long-running career. Now, that's kind of crazy to think of from someone who was expelled from high school. Now, would you like to know how he was expelled? He was expelled because he impersonated a school official, hired a contractor to add additions onto the school, and they caught him. So he was expelled, but he ended up becoming a carpet salesman. He ended up going out and doing stand-up comedy at Yuck Yucks in Canada. And like I said, as soon as he came to Los Angeles, it took one gig and his life completely changed. Now, he had an extremely successful career, and like I said, he was on St. Elsewhere, but when he started making movies, he did A Fine Mess, which was a great movie, but in 1987, he decided to self-produce and fund a movie called Walk Like a Man. Now, it's widely considered to be kind of a bomb. It didn't do well in the box office, but it's good enough that even though it's been out of print by MGM for quite a few years, it was actually on Netflix for a while. And if you'd like to watch it, you can find it here on YouTube. Just look up Howie Mandel Walk Like a Man. The whole movie's on here. Now, this movie's actually pretty interesting because the concept of the movie is that Christopher Lloyd plays Howie Mandel's older brother. And the movie begins in Alaska, where the family, the father and the mother and the two sons, at this time Howie Mandel would be 2 years old, they discover gold. And the kid that Christopher Lloyd is played by is basically a real brat, and he's really unlikable, and he ends up kicking the 2-year-old off of their dog sled. The kid is lost for 20 years and is raised by wolves. So our movie basically is this woman who's an environmentalist is out up in Big Bear, and she ends up finding this man that's been raised by wolves. Finds out the story, finds out who he is, and shows up over here to this house. And basically what's going on in the family is that the father had spent all 20 years looking for this boy Bobo. And when he died, he left his fortune, which was $90 million, to Cloris Leachman, his wife, who has since become a crazy cat lady. She funds all kinds of rescue efforts for cats. She has tons of cats living in her house. Christopher Lloyd gets $30 million. He's pretty much the evil brother, Reggie. He blows through that $30 million in 1 year and ends up living over here at Cloris Leachman's house. And so there's this $30 million that's supposed to go to Bobo, and if he's not found by his 30th birthday, it goes to Reggie. Bobo has now been found, so what they find out is that if Reggie can con Bobo into learning how to write his name, signing a document, he can take over control of that money. So the whole movie is basically about them trying to domesticate Howie Mandel, and Howie Mandel playing a wolf. Now, the movie is not the greatest movie in the world, but it is an awesome movie. I love this movie, and it's totally worth watching, and it's on YouTube for free, so you should definitely go watch it. Now, when I showed up over here, first thing was it's a little bit of a bummer. They have fences up, kind of hiding a lot of the spots that I want to show you, but one of the things I realized was that when Scott Michaels took us on our tour, he actually brought us by this house. This was also the Willard house. This was also the house that he said that they used for like the Addams Family reunion in the 70s or whatever. But this is the Shand house. Technically it would be Cloris Leachman's house in the movie, but everything happens here. They live in here, and when you go watch the movie, because I'm hoping most of you will since it's free, you'll see this is great. This is it's changed quite a bit. These trees weren't here, this fence wasn't here, but this incline always was. So a lot of the great scenes actually happen right up here on the porch. It looks like that's gonna be blocked off, unfortunately. But yeah, bummer. Well, I'll show it to you anyway. A lot of the great scenes happen on that porch because throughout the movie, Howie Mandel keeps reverting back to being like having the wolf tendency. So a lot of the times they have to walk him bring him out here to go to the bathroom. So they walk him over here. You can tell where they've replanted a tree where this mulch is, but there was a tree that Christopher Lloyd has to walk him on a leash over there so he can pee on the tree.
Not our tree. Jesus. Jesus.
But there's a running gag in this movie that that I love, and it's every time he goes into like the wolf mode, he runs across the yard right over here on his hands and knees as though he's a dog, and most of the time accompanied by other dogs. And at the time, this kind of was closed off, and the driveway actually went from here, curving around, and goes up to that residence. And so that was the house that Bobo 3 or 4 times runs through the wet cement of the driveway.
Come here. Bobo! God damn it, come here. Come here.
And that's the neighbor that comes out with the golf club and ends up bashing in the windows. Now, I was really hoping my timing was just off. Just as I was getting out of the car, somebody that it looks like there's some sort of workspace in the back. Somebody that worked here walked in and had that opened up, and what I was going to be able to show you was in the backyard here, they did actually film the whole movie here. The backyard is where they teach Bobo how to walk, and right on the other side of this fence, yeah, I don't want to do anything that'll get me in trouble, but right on the other side of this fence, you can kind of see there's a truck straight through there, right pretty much where my finger is. Right over there is where the table would have been in the movie, where Penny is teaching Bobo how to write his name on that chalkboard. So that, I was kind of excited. I was hoping to show you that, but you know what? Maybe I'll try and do it anyway. Just because I know you guys are going to watch the movie. Would have been right over there. I'm gonna try and show you guys at least the front door. Still the same columns at the entryway that you see Reggie and Rhonda arguing and Bobo and I mean, so many great scenes right there. That's where Bobo does like the backflip right here in the yard and runs across. Yeah, you wouldn't even guess by watching the movie that this was it. I mean, kind of where it's located, like an industrial center right here on the end, and in the movie, that house over there actually has like some yellow awnings, like yellow and white striped awnings, so that house doesn't even look anything like it did. That was it. That was the Walk Like a Man house. Well, it definitely wasn't ideal. Sometimes, you know, like I said, I don't do a lot of like looking up online on Google Maps before I come to see what the property looks like now. I'll do the vlog even if it's not there. So I'm always kind of, I always like it when, you know, it's a little bit of a surprise, but it's such a bummer that such a cool house has been used for so many productions. They've got it, you know, the whole front covered up and you can't really see any of it. But since 1987, you can tell that the front yard has changed considerably, and I'll match up, and you've probably already seen it by now, I'll match up a few things to kind of show you what it used to look like. Now, it's just, like I was saying earlier in the video, it's just crazy to me. If you watch these movies and you watch this style of his humor, and then you watch what he like kind of evolved into being like a game show host and all that stuff, it's just kind of weird. I would have never seen it coming. Now he has a shaved head and a soul patch, and yeah, you just would have never seen it coming. Alright gang, so there's something I drove past on my way here, and I said, you know what, I'll hit that on the way back. You guys have to see this. You're gonna love this. This is right up there with well, you'll see. It's gonna remind you of Norwood's Palace when he put all those Thriller jackets on the statues. As soon as I drove by this place, I was like, wow, that place is awesome, but that's exactly what I thought of. And it's in the same neighborhood, so let's go take a look at it. All right, so this place right here with the American flag is the one I want to show you. This is gonna blow you away. It is, I mean, it's awesome. It is awesome. Everything about it. All the way down to having a statue of a dog right there. All kinds of statues in there. Look at that. See, there's that one of the dog right there, and then there's the women. Yeah, that is so cool. There's another statue of a boy and a dog right there. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Pretty cool. Oh, and this is right in the front. Very Roman, isn't it? You've got the hedge maze. You've got the centerpiece. Yeah, beautiful house. All right, we're about to run out of juice, so I need to get some vegetables. All right, we're done. I actually opted for a couple of pre-made salads and a pre-made juice. Now we gotta hit the store to get a few bubble mailers. All right, please have bubble mailers. Actually, they always have everything. It really puts life into perspective when you can do about 90% of your shopping at a dollar store. Maybe next time. All right, they have some. Not exactly what I need though. All right, I think that might do it. Well, guys, I just went and did a over 2-hour live stream for the Ready Player One live premiere, hoping to see Spielberg or somebody, and we didn't see anybody. That's all right. It was fun anyway, and for those who were able to watch it, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Wanted to thank a few people before we called it an end of the night. I wanted to thank Louise Hooper, Debbie Clark, Sharon Bliss, Todd Mather, Keith Dayborn, and Steph Scoville. Thank you for becoming Patreons and supporting what I'm doing. And while we were out and about doing that live stream, there was some crazy live streamer out there himself doing something where he was dressed up like an Easter bunny and you had to answer a question, you got a prize, whatever. Either way, I got a prize. I got a Happy Easter cross, and yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Alright gang, I hope you guys will take the time to either go on Netflix or go on YouTube and watch Walk Like a Man. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a lighthearted, funny movie, and I just, you know, it's one of those movies that when you start watching it, it's so ridiculous that you have to like it. So, hope you guys will watch it and enjoy it. Now tomorrow, we're celebrating not a huge anniversary, but 600 days in a row. I'm going to give away my green sunglasses, and who knows what else will happen. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for watching my daily vlog. Tomorrow will be 600 days in a row. Have a great night. We'll see you all then. Goodbye.
Felt wear it on your face. Just last week I had a taste of. I was too drunk, I admit too stoned. I couldn't connect with the crowd. I felt so alone.